Strange times indeed. Welcome one and all, welcome back to Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Strange Times Indeed with the crazy echo. Oh boy, is that me? The crazy echo. Oh boy, that's you. Is that me? The crazy echo. Have we fixed the echo? Out here, is this echo just happening for Steven or is it happening for all? If you're hearing an echo, put echo in the chat. This says I'm muted. Bearfun52 says I've been muted. They are taking away my voice, trying to take away the people's ability to hear me. I'm reading that I can be heard. There was an echo, but not anymore. And now we're good. Do you hear that? Well, all right, we're getting reports that we are good coming from the chat with no echo. Welcome one and all to Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. I, of course, am your host, Cliff McCallister. Tonight we've got all sorts of breaking news to talk about off the top. We've got gifts, we've got a tease at future episodes, and of course, dream interpretation, and as always, we are taking calls on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. We want to hear your strange experiences, so call in. We've got the Zoom link in the chat. If you've experienced anything strange, anything unexplainable that you'd like to discuss with us on the show, you're always encouraged to call in. Because here at Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, we are listening to you as a public service. You call in, you get one-on-one special time with the Czar of the Bizarre, the one man who is capable of explaining and understanding the strange things that you have encountered. So please call in. This is a safe space to share your bizarre encounters with Cliff McCallister, the Czar of the Bizarre, right here on Strange Times Indeed. The Zoom link's in the chat if anyone has a pressing story they need to share off the top this week. But if no one wishes to call in right at this moment, that's fine. They've got an hour to work up the courage. And so we are going to press on into news, kicking things off tonight on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. More strange sightings, more unexplainable happenings at O'Hare International Airport up in Chicago. This time, though, slightly different. These are not the Mothman sightings of O'Hare. No, this one seems to point to a more extraterrestrial source. As we have discussed on the show in the past, here at Strange Times Indeed, we do believe the Mothman a sort of interdimensional being and perhaps a warning sign of troubled times to come. But for those who may have studied the original text of Jonathan Keel's A Mothman Prophecy, you will note that during the original Mothman sightings in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, there was also an explosion of instances of UFOs in that area. Of course, that is the story from which some of the Men in Black lore originate. And here in O'Hare International Airport, trucker reports a sighting of a diminutive gray-skinned, black-eyed humanoid at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. That's the title of the article, Gray-Skinned, Black-Eyed Humanoid. Now, what this trucker goes on to describe is a traditional gray alien. I'll go ahead and read his report. He reported this to Singular 14. He says as such about this sighting, I was at O'Hare Airport doing a pickup of some air freight from the United Cargo Facility on the night of June 31st, 2020. It was about 10 p.m. and I was backed up to the dock waiting to be loaded when I saw what looked like a small child walking across the grassy area by the streetlights over by the road. At first, I thought it was just another driver taking a walk or taking a smoke break or just stretching his legs. As I watched him, I started to take notice that it did not look like any person I had ever seen in my life. It looked like it was a very skinny and small child. The way he walked was also different. It looked like he was limping as he walked. The arms were also very skinny, hung down to his knees. They looked very, very skinny. What we would call skin and bones. I watched it for almost a minute and saw two semis pass by on the road next to where it was. Both trucks apparently didn't notice it and simply drove on. There was also activity across the street by the control tower, but they also apparently never noticed it as it idly walked under the street light. When I did get under the light, I could see that its skin appeared to be a light shade of gray, and it appeared to not be wearing clothes. Its head was out of proportion to its body, and it appeared to be looking at the plane that was being brought toward the fence across the street and the activity around it. I eventually decided to get out of the truck and take a closer look, hoping it wasn't a small child that had wandered off or been abandoned. As I got out and walked towards it, it turned and it almost would have heard me, and I called out. As I got closer, it became alarmed, and the closer I got, I realized that it wasn't a small child as I first thought. I called out to it again, and then it turned toward me, and I saw that it had a huge, almost bug-like eyes that were black in color, and its body appeared to be a light shade of gray under the light of the street light. I picked up my pace toward it, and when I saw it take off and start running away, it ran faster than any human I've ever seen. It could have easily outrun an Olympic sprinter. It was gone in a blink of an eye, and all I remember was someone banging on the door of my truck, telling me to come inside and get my paperwork. It was the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's right, a gray sighting at O'Hare International Airport, the extraterrestrial species most commonly known to pulp culture. If you go to the alien emoji on your phone, what you're seeing there is a interpretation of the gray alien, the gray species. And if you're watching tonight with us, Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, put a little alien emoji in the chat, comment in, 'cause you're with us tonight, and we are delivering news from the strange and the bizarre, taking calls from callers all over the world to hear their experiences with things they can't quite explain, the odd things that happen in their lives, be them extraterrestrial, be them spectral, be them an interdimensional being. Who's to say? And oh, look at that. They're in the chat now. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now, here's the thing. We have not even talked about. We have not even talked about this yet. Whoa, whoa. Oh, my goodness. Now, this really, look, here's the thing. I try not to get too in my head. I don't want to become some big shot Hollywood phony, but man, do I get excited when I see people pop up in the chat. If you're a subscriber to Met Comedy Night on Twitch, you get access to an exclusive Cliff McCallister emoji. And you can pop that in the chat there. Whoa, my goodness, there goes one right there. There he goes up the screen. That's me. That's an illustration of me done by an artist named Simon Who, a fan of the show from our early Instagram days. And now look at that. It's an emoji, a way we can celebrate every time you hear something strange, anytime you encounter something strange on the show, and you go, that's strange. You can put that emoji in the chat, and the people watching will know you agree. Something strange is happening on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Oh boy, what a show we have for you tonight. 7 people watching live already. Now that's a record. Oh boy, do I feel Steven, our technical director. Steven, you gotta rein me in. I think I'm gonna get a big ego tonight.
It's okay. We're honored to have you as our first emote here on Met Comedy Night channel.
Wow. And here I was, just as our producer Kevin said last week, months ago, I was just standing on the corner of East Patrick and Market with my big "The End Is Nigh" sign, just trying to gather the people, find anyone who would listen to me. And now I have a home here where Anyone can comment and share their strange stories, and I can share mine. Incredible. All right, moving on to our second news story off the top. Today, we talked about interdimensional visitations. We've talked about extraterrestrial visitations. Now for a spiritual visitation. You may remember last week our caller Colin called in about a terrifying house in which he lived that was haunted. Now this, similar to that, but not the same story, of course. This is a police report from the city of Richmond Hill, Georgia. Now, normally we don't fully take police reports at their word, and we'll have a breakdown of that after this reading, but this is the police report. A woman who works for a rental property management company went to the Richmond Hill Police Department September 1st to report that a man who lived next door to a property did approach a couple looking to rent, stating the house is haunted and his parents had recently expired inside the home, a report said. After receiving that information from the man, the complainant stated that the couple did not want to rent the home anymore and informed her of why the decision was made. The complainant advised this is an ongoing issue with the man and would like it to stop. The officer got in touch with the man and told him why, and the man did state, "Sir, I'm not telling a lie. Both my parents had expired inside this residence." The officer then told the man of the complainant's concerns of volunteering negative information to every prospect that come to view his residence. He apologized and stated that he will not do it again. The officer also reported back to the complainant, and she appeared very satisfied with the end result. Now, isn't that just like a landlord? There are spirits haunting this house. A man's family has died in this house. He knows the spirits are there. He knows they're inside the house, trying to contact anyone who might live there. And the landlord goes to the police and they say, "Hush, hush, 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 you better not tell people about this haunted house. People don't want to know these houses are haunted. Well, then I'll never sell it. Then I'll never make my money." Knowing full well those houses should be donated to science. Of course you shouldn't rent that house. It's haunted. There's an active spiritual happening there. And it's important that we understand the extent of which these things happen. Could this be a violent poltergeist in this house, like the one Colin lived in from last week's call? The landlord's trying to cover this up? Here we go. We've got a chat here. I'd move into a house that someone said was haunted. Well, there you go. That ties into our next story. Because this is a report coming from isoldmyhouse.com. They report that over a third of people have had a paranormal experience in the houses they've owned. And they have reported, let me find the statistics here. 61% of people would prefer not to live in a haunted house. 61% of people do not want to live inside a haunted house. Ghosts don't need money. That's right. Ghosts are anti-capitalist. Ghosts are Antifa. Going off in the chat. And see, the ghosts just living rent-free. Bigfoot's an Antifa. Confirmed it a few weeks ago on the show. Just things to think about if you're in the paranormal community. Maybe, move a little closer, further to the left. Now, this report, 61% of Americans would rather not buy a haunted house, coming from isoldmyhouse.com. This website is partnered with an exorcist to offer a home exorcism service for realtors. And on their website, the way the service works, it says the free service, it's a free home exorcism, will be facilitated initially by a remote video call between the homeowner and our exorcist. So there's the keynote. You must buy the house. This isn't for realtors. You have to buy the house while it's haunted and then they'll put you in touch with the home exorcist. They will diagnose the issue, if there is one, and offer advice on how to deal with any paranormal activity. Now, what we are going to do on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, what we are going to do is, if you go to this web link, there is a form. It says Home Exorcism Service, and right there it is. If you or someone you know is suffering from a paranormal housing problem, please fill in the form below to register your interest in the Home Exorcism Service, and a member of the team will get back to you if we can help. Now, of course, we're not some hoaxsters. We're not going to try to say we need a home exorcism. But I'll tell you what we will do. We are going to fill out that form here. I, Cliff McCallister, the Czar of the Bazaar. I'm going to enter my name into the hat. I'm going to say, good sirs or madams or whatever you are. I am very interested in having a home exorcist interview on our show. And we will see if the person who offers these home exorcisms over Zoom, over Skype for free, would be willing to spend some time with us on any particular Thursday at 9 o'clock. And we can maybe take other calls. People can talk to this home exorcist and find out, well, I think my house is haunted. What do you think I should do? And we can all give advice. Well, I think that sounds like a pretty fun idea. So we're going to fill out that form, and we're going to try and get us a home exorcist on the line. Not tonight, of course. Well, we don't expect the turnaround to be that quick. But in the future, teasing future shows and moving right along. Next week, an important programming note. Next week on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, we are jumping tracks from the world of the paranormal to the world of true crime. We are going to be reading 2 chapters every 2 weeks of Who Killed Marilyn. Now I mean hopefully us separately. Go find a copy of Who Killed Marilyn by Tony Sayaka. Go and find a copy of that book. It costs about $1.75, probably on any newsstand. And every 2 weeks, starting next Friday, we are going to go and read 2 chapters a week. We're going to discuss who we think killed Marilyn in a 4-episode series, 8 chapters total. We're going to do 2 a week for every other week. I hope that's easy to follow. The point is, it's starting next week. So find yourself a copy of this book, and if not, don't worry. In the time in between now and then, I will have read the first 2 chapters. I'll have excerpts prepared. We will share them with you on the show. People can call in, given the information that I've shared, that I've culminated from this book, and we're going to share our theories on who we think killed Marilyn Monroe. And I bet by the end of this 4-part series, we'll have a definitive answer. Now, if you're not entirely sure what you think, oh, should I spend my time reading this book? Should I get this book and be a part of this book club? Well, let me read to you the first page. Chapter 1, High Suspicion. Marilyn Monroe was murdered. Marilyn. She need only go before the cameras, turn on the extraordinary impact of her total driving sexuality, her psychic musk, and from the screen she flashed on all of us that rare blend of arrogance and availability, as if she were telling every man, "Here I am, mister. Come and take me, if you think you're man enough. But I warn you, I haven't yet come across anybody who's man enough." That's the very first page. Who Killed Marilyn? A spicy expose on the murder of Marilyn Monroe, a 4-episode series, bi-weekly, starting next Thursday. So get yourself a copy. We're going to want to have chapters 1 and chapters 2 read by the start of next week. And don't worry if you can't find one in time, keep hunting. And I will share excerpts. I will share excerpts like the one I just read. But I'll find others as we go, so you know what information there is in this book. By the end of those 4 weeks, we'll have the murder solved. That's part of our Strange Times 4-part true crime spinoff. happening in the same time. It's not like an extra show. It's not like a Frasier. Oh, here we go. All right, people going off in the chat. A new band name, Psychic Musk. We've got Barefoot52 says at some point you should investigate whether Paul is dead and if Elvis is alive. Oh, well, that sounds like it'd be an exciting follow-up to this. A trilogy, perhaps. The trilogy, Who Killed Marilyn? Is Paul McCartney dead? And is Elvis alive? This is going to go down in history, Stephen. We're making waves here.
Got a lot to do. You got a lot to investigate. They've got a lot of dots to connect.
Well, that's the thing that people want to know. Is Marilyn, has she been murdered? Was it the Kennedys or the Sinatras?
That's why people are tuning in.
Did Paul McCartney die in a car crash with clues littered all over the albums? The other thing people want to know, is Elvis alive? Did Elvis leave clues while he was living to let us know that he wouldn't really be dead? We'll examine all three over time. But for half of the next 8 weeks, we're talking about Who Killed Marilyn. Bi-weekly, so read the first 2 chapters. Another thing that's got my ego exploding tonight, we received this incredible package in the mail from our Strange Times Indeed field agent, Douglas Grove sent us this. Alien Anatomy, the game that takes guts to win. Look at this game. I am so excited. We're not going to play it on the show tonight. How old is the book? The book is from Who Killed Marilyn, published in 1976, the Bicentennial. Now, Alien Anatomy, this game, look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There it is. Isn't that just the strangest thing you've ever seen? This game. Oh my goodness. The little 4 steps. And it's just like Operation. You gotta get it. You gotta get in there. Let's see what we got. This is just a preview. We'll do a special report on this game after we find out what's inside this extraterrestrial. A glimpse at a future pre-tape segment of the show. Oh my goodness. It fell on the floor. It looks like. Well, there it is. An alien eyeball. An extraterrestrial eyeball. Oh boy. Oh. Aliens with eyeballs in their guts. All this and more as we explore Alien Anatomy. That's going to be coming up on a future episode. We're going to get me. We're going to get a special guest. Maybe a doctor, maybe a toy expert. And we will examine this game further. But a special thank you. I cannot thank you enough to our field agent, Douglas Grove, for sending this in. We will have a full report soon on Alien Anatomy. We'll be featuring that in a future episode as well. So many things to get excited about on this show. I cannot wait to bring more to you. Steven, let's go ahead. Let's go to a quick break. And when we come back, as we know on the show, we not only take calls about the strange and unexplained, but we interpret dreams. And Stephen Cray, our technical director here, he has been teaching himself how to lucid dream. And he has been keeping a dream journal of his own dreams. We're going to hear one of his dreams tonight and see if we can't find some cosmic interpretation to them. That's coming up on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Stay with us.
Hello. We are the Comedy Pigs. We're practicing a game we call Scenes from a Hat. Wrong things to say at a eulogy.
I am so gonna miss Mister. I'm just gonna really miss this guy here. He's a good guy.
He just borrowed like $100 from me like Thursday, so just wondering who's gonna pay now that he's dead.
Things you can shout at a football game, but not in bed.
Whoa, you could have drove a dump truck through that gap.
Yeah, we're dealing with a bunch of overpaid prima donnas here.
Man, his
Welcome back to Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, an exploration of the bizarre with the Czar of the Bizarre, right here on twitch.tv/MedComedyNight. Now, you saw that ad during the break. We've got the Comedy Pigs performing here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. They got a little preview there from some of their rehearsals, but they're going to be doing a half hour of short-form improv comedy, and they need you to tune in and give suggestions to the show. That's going to be happening right here, twitch.tv/MedComedyNight, as well as the Maryland Ensemble Theater Facebook page. And here at Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, we are brought to you by the Maryland Ensemble Theater, and we dedicate every show to them because they have the guts to put us on the air. We say some crazy things here at Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, and it's hard to find backing in any way, but here we are, our own venue, our own space, thanks to the Maryland Ensemble Theater. And if you want to support them and support our show, please consider making a donation at marylandensemble.org/donate. Now, of course, Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, an exploration of the unexplained. A chance to share your strange stories, to speak with the Czar of the Bizarre, and tell him about the things you can't quite explain. So we take calls on this show. We are going to be putting in the Zoom link in the chat right there. If you've got a strange story to share with us, if you've got something you'd like to tell us that you can't quite explain, and we'll figure it out together, you can call in. Just hit that Zoom link. We'll bring you right on the air. Now we've got a pointer here. Our good friend C.T. Schultze has redeemed Hydrate as a special thing. You spend 100 channel points, if I'm getting the terminology correct. I've listened to Steven talk about it so much. If you spend 100 channel points, I have to drink some water, and I always think that's a special treat. Water! Stay great, hydrate. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Steven, come back, Steven.
Yes.
Now, Steven, as we talked about before we went to the commercial break, we are back with you this week, and we are talking dreams.
Here's my dream journal from 2014.
This is Steven's dream journal from 2014. Steven has been training himself. He has been training himself to lucid dream. I'm flipped on my screen, so I'm trying to point at you the proper way.
Real quick, while you explain this, I didn't actually read ahead and choose a dream. So from March of 2014 to September of 2014, someone choose a date in the chat, and I'll try and read a dream that is from that date, from this journal.
Yeah, so not only do we talk about the paranormal, we hear your stories of the unexplained on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, but I do offer dream interpretation, a modern-day Technicolor, Joseph and his amazing dream coat. The name of the show. Can somebody put that? Can somebody Photoshop the Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat thing to be Technicolor, the Amazing Joseph Dreamcoat? Here we go. No dates yet. People do not want a date.
April 20th just came in.
All right.
That's 4/20, right?
Yes, 4/20, April 20th.
Oh, nope. I did not record a dream the morning of the 20th of April. I'm very sorry. I could go to the next day, or we could choose another day.
Did you get one from April 21st?
Actually, I experienced a lull.
a lull.
Yes, they're April 1st,
How about May 21st?
or no, uh, June 15th. So it was like a month and a half lull.
All right, well, let's go to June 15th then. Sounds like they
Okay.
picked the date and we
The
we
Price
landed
is
right
Right
in the middle.
rules. So we'll go to the next one. Okay, page and a
Let's hear
half.
that thing.
I was nice enough to give a struggling man money once, and this time, as he asked again, he pointed out my collared shirt, belt, trying to get money. I was trying to play with Carly. I freaked out and got pissed. I was mad at everybody and everything. Then I went bowling. There were no balls, just dinky things for sale. I went and cursed a guy out, complaining, at a place where it looks like you could rent skates. I eventually found out that I didn't like and decided to use it. I then broke behind locked glass, stole a camera, took a random picture of some people, and put it back. Then I started to bowl. An older man, maybe Todd's dad, joined me. We played like in Wii. I got terribly lucky strike that bounced off the left gutter. Then he gave me a spare that I picked up. AJ joined us as a third, and all of a sudden we had 3 chances a frame. I then blew an easy third frame spare. This entire time I'm bowling, I'm just waiting for someone who had the nerve to escort me out. I knew I was right. I kept getting reports from blonde, scary boss lady at Chick-fil-A how it was going. She kept saying, "Sounds like you're in a lot of trouble."
Now that is an interesting dream. I think the first part there, you talk about a man asking you for money. You're helping a homeless man, correct?
Yes.
And he says he keeps pointing at your things, your belt buckle, your shoes, to say you have more money. Could I have some money? And I think perhaps that is a cosmic feeling within you that other people who you know are worse off than you need so much help, and they need more help than you're able to give them. And though you try to give them what you can, you know that you can't truly make their life better unless you give all your things away.
Right. It seemed like I was content with giving once, but then, well, I don't know. It seemed like I
Well,
got really pissed after that.
Yes, and what I think that might be is a part of your inner psyche that
Okay.
knows that's just screaming like, I wish I could actually give this guy what he needs.
Hmm.
I wish I had that capability.
Oh,
Which
Todd's
is a good thing. That's
dad
a good thing.
spared me.
Yeah. What was that?
This is a comment in the chat.
Todd's dad spared you when you were bowling, I think. So that
Yes.
where Todd's dad came in?
Yes. So, but maybe the analogy is like me getting a spare, I was somehow spared by Todd's dad in the later part.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, you're the dream interpreter. That was just a comment in the chat.
It does go a couple of different directions, because then after that encounter, you go to a bowling alley that only sells trinkets.
Right. Well, yeah, and I curse somebody out. I steal a camera.
You get upset because the reality that you had perceived is not what you wanted it to be.
Okay.
Something that you wished had happened turned out a little differently. And rather than being a bowling alley, it was a trinket shop. and you didn't want trinkets, you weren't expecting trinkets, and all of a sudden here are these trinkets and there's no bowling at all.
Yeah, I wanted. It was a great opportunity to pick a fight because it seemed like they were clearly in the wrong, and here I was lashing out and acting up, but
But when you think about it, they weren't in the wrong. They're just, that's their shop. It's always that way. It's a trinket store. And on the outside, it looks like it's a bowling alley. And then you come in and you're upset with them because they have the belt buckles and they won't give you the bowling. They have the nice shoes, but they won't give you the bowling.
now the situation.
And now you are the man from the start of the dream.
Yes, it reverses on me. Wow.
And that's the cosmic dance. Sometimes you are the person who has what he needs, and sometimes you're the person who needs help. You're the person who needs to go bowling.
Clearly. Yeah, it's really insightful that you discovered that.
Well, I'm an insightful fella. I am, after all, Cliff McCallister, the czar of the bazaar and host of Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Steven, what do you think? Do you feel satisfied by that dream interpretation?
I was just looking like
analysis.
Yeah, one last question. Okay, so the scary blonde boss lady that comes in at the end. Would you pick anything up from that?
Could you reread that section one more time? From the scary blonde boss lady.
Well, it was. I kept getting reports from blonde scary boss lady at Chick-fil-A how it was going. She kept saying, "Sounds like you're in a lot of trouble." And that's how it concluded.
Well, in thinking about all manner of dream interpretation, I do have to ask, given this scenario, are you into domination?
I wouldn't really know if I'm into it or not. I haven't quite tried it, so I can't really say that I'm not into it.
But it's an unexplored part of your psyche, and all of a sudden, this big scary boss lady with the blonde hair
wants
it's telling
me
you
in trouble.
It seems like you're in trouble.
Right.
People who are in trouble.
Oh my gosh, you might be right. Because right before this, I said I'm just waiting for someone who has the nerve to escort me out.
You're picking a fight.
Oh.
You're waiting. You're just waiting for someone to dominate you.
You might be right.
It's a little Freudian, but it's still dream interpretation.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And Freud was a real psychologist.
Well, I'm glad I asked you about the tail end of the dream there.
Hey, well, you thank me in the morning. Oh, thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing your dreams with us tonight. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. We offer call-ins. If you've experienced anything you can't quite explain, we want to hear about it here on the show. Well, we also interpret dreams, and we have had a dream tonight, but we'll take more if anyone has a dream they'd like to share. Now, isn't this quite a time to be alive? Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister is on every Thursday, 9 o'clock, at the Met Comedy Night Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/Met Comedy Night. You can join us every Thursday right here for a whole lot of fun and a chance to explore the unexplained. Now, you don't get that too often. The news is always stuffed up there like, no thanks, no thanks. No more Bigfoot stories. We've got oil to sell. But here at Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister, we look into the bizarre, we look into the explained in an uncensored manner, in an uncensored way, censored, of course, by the government, the one people trying to shut us down. Whoa, 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 Steven, I'm being attacked in cyberspace. All right, whoa, 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 get out of here, get out of here. My goodness. Oh, It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit with a computer screen. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. A wild ride of a show you gotta tune in every Thursday, 9 o'clock. Here on the twitch.tv/MetComedyNight channel. You want to support us? Please consider a donation at marylandensemble.org/donate. Now, we had a question in the chat earlier before the dreams. During our hydrate break, it was asked, what's on your mug? This is a mug from Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, and it's actually a UFO crash. Now, Kecksburg in Pennsylvania there, a UFO crashed into the forest. The government quickly got to it, very quickly. This is a Reader's Digest version of the story. The government got to it very quickly, snatched it up, took it away, but the people of Kecksburg never quite recovered from the Kecksburg UFO crash. And so they built a shrine to this species, to this UFO, and put it outside their volunteer fire department. Now, if you go to their volunteer fire department, you can see the shrine to this very craft. And if you go and knock on the VFW's door into the back bar area, you'll find there's a little gift shop back there. Whoever works will take you in. It'll smell like cigarettes because I think they're allowed to smoke inside there. A guy will take you into this bar that's just for veterans and firemen. And he'll walk you to a back closet, smaller than the room we broadcast in. Probably about as wide as the set goes. From about there to about there. It's about that big of a room. And they've got mugs and they've got t-shirts. And not a lot of moving space. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com? Steven, you hear that? People are just begging us to be famous.
Yeah, they definitely, I feel like they want us to be famous. Sure.
They want us to do a movie or something.
Yes. That would be great. That would make us famous like that.
And then a live show and a live tour.
A tour. Yeah.
I'm not trying to get too big in my head about it, but man, oh man, so many possibilities for Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. If only the executives at Netflix would tune into our show.
There's so much to do. Netflix, let's do it for you.
But here's the thing about Cliff McCallister. I'm no sellout. If I got a Netflix series, I'd still be here every Thursday at twitch.tv/MetComedyNight taking your calls, hearing your strange experiences. No matter how big I get, I'll always be here for you. The person with an unexplained story that they just gotta share with the world. That's here every Thursday, 9 o'clock, Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Now let's return to the news. Any viewers who missed the top of our programming. A gray alien was sighted at O'Hare's International Airport. Can I call in with a ghost story? Yes, absolutely. Stephen, we've got a request to call in with a ghost story. Let's drop that link in the chat. Oh boy, love having a fresh call tonight. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Here we go. Letting them in. Hello?
Oh, dang it.
Hello there. Do we have our permission to bring you on the screen?
You sure do. I'm working.
Oh, could you close Twitch on your browser? Oh, wonderful. Alrighty. How's it going? This is Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Who may I ask is calling tonight?
Hi, Cliff. I think I've met your producer before.
Yes, Kevin.
He's a cool dude. Definitely let him know.
I'll be sure to pass the news along.
I've got a ghost story that I don't think I've told a lot of people.
All right. Well, we love ghost stories here on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister.
So last week, Colin's story really got me thinking about haunted houses that I've possibly been inside. And then I realized that I've never talked about this one. and it's like from 8 years ago. All right.
All right.
And there are like 5 other people that could corroborate this that will not talk about this story.
Okay.
So, and also I guess like school's back, and I went to a school a while ago, and so this is about a school in the city we live in.
All right.
Shout out to Hood College for giving me just a night. Okay. So it's
All
not
right.
aliens, and it's not aliens, Cliff, and I'm super sorry about that.
That's a no. A night in a college that becomes a nightmare.
Oh, it was so much. Okay.
We don't discriminate about what extraterrestrial stories we hear on the show or what paranormal stories.
All
The
right.
important thing is that it's para, not normal.
That's super. That's very welcoming. Okay, so about 8 years ago, I was a freshman in college, and I was taking a Gothic literature class. And Gothic literature is like the spooky stuff, right? And my teacher was Crimson Peak, like very turn of the screw, a lot of Shirley Jackson kind of stuff. So I was taking this class, and I was a child. All right, so I was a child, and I wanted extra credit. And I had heard that Broadbeck Music Hall was the most haunted building on campus. So Broadbeck Music Hall is now it's used, I guess, as like the music department in Hood College. It's a 2-story brick building. Apparently it's also the oldest building on campus, and it used to be a building downtown in downtown Frederick. And so Broadbeck had a history of being a brothel, a vaudeville music hall, a brothel again, and then somebody's house and then it was used as like a multi-purpose venue in like the early 20th century and there was like church and stuff there. And then it got relocated to the Hood College campus. I don't know how long ago, probably in the early 20th century. Mid 20th century, I don't remember. My memory is hazy. College was a blur.
That's all right. As long as this night is crystal clear.
Oh, so I was very so I decided that I brought in friends to do like a exposing the secrets of Broadbeck Hall like video for my class, because I really wanted to get on this. I just wanted extra credit, and I really wanted to be a super achiever. And so we went at 3 a.m. We went at we figured that was the spookiest time to go. It was like me and 4 other people with our like dinky 10-year-old, I guess, like iPhone cameras, I think. And we were like Broadbeck isn't haunted. And we were going to cut it to just be like just a goofy 5-minute video to be like, Broadbeck's not haunted. Y'all are chumps.
So you went in to disprove it. You went in as skeptic.
We were like, this is dumb. But like, it was super up our teacher's alley. And then I had dressed up my friend as a ghost to be like, this is a fake ghost. And so we had her like running around this hall. We had gotten full permission. So we didn't do this we got full permission from facilities to do this. You
did not commit a crime. You did not break into the building.
Did not commit a crime. If anybody from is watching.
So there's no reason to try to discredit this story. You can't say Amber George has a criminal record. They cannot. You cannot trust their word.
So Broadbeck has a basement, a ground floor with a music hall, and then a top floor with access to basically a top pew area for the music hall. So what happened to us that night was we spent about an hour just wandering around this spooky old building. Half the lights weren't turning on. We didn't know. We figured that was part of it's when it gets shut down at night, they turn off a breaker or something to save electricity because it was really old and the wiring was bad.
Right. It's part of its charm.
And it was like it was like in November, I think, because it was kind of cold. And so then at the end of the night, we started hearing like shuffling from upstairs, and we were all in like the one music hall because we were getting really bored because it was like 4 a.m. And we
And
hear
you still
shuffling.
hadn't experienced anything.
Yeah, we hadn't experienced anything. We were just like dumb college kids sitting in this music hall, and it's a big old music hall, super echoey. And then so that was like adding to like our heightened sense of fear. But we started hearing shuffling, I swear to God, coming from above in the pew area. And we were like, "Ah, who's up there? Who's taking a pee?" Nobody, we were all in the same area. All right. And so we started hearing all these weird like shuffling sounds, like people moving stuff. And we were like, okay, we're getting kind of spooked. We're all like 12 years old or 18, whatever. And so we were getting like kind of freaked out. So we tried to send somebody up there, and he straight up wouldn't. And so he went up to like, and then we were like, okay, we'll go up with you. And then a door had been locked that we didn't lock. And I swear to God, we were sober. And we were like, okay, this is kind of freaky. Maybe it locked behind us. So then we make our way downstairs. We're all kind of we're like kind of freaking out because we're like, okay, like who locked this door? And nobody in our group had the time to lock the door. And we knew that we were the only people there because facilities doesn't run checks that late. And so we had like all the lights on, so like facilities could have seen us and like knew what we were doing. And so
and you talked to them beforehand.
And we had like talked. Yeah. And so we get down, we had like turned our iPhones off at this point. Because we were like, okay, it's time to go. Like we're done. But then we hear, and so we're like all trying to turn off the lights, but nobody wants to go alone anymore to turn off lights. So we all move as like a unit of fish swimming through this old house. And we go to turn off like we go to like try to close the big music hall doors, and then somebody screams. And so we all turn our heads because like the one person had like tried to lock, and then there's, I swear to God, like a black hoop skirt, Cliff, like passes like by the door, like the curve of like a hoop skirt we see moving past this door in the bright like electric light at 4 a.m. I swear we all saw it, and we said, okay, it's time to go, but we all shrieked and ran out without locking anything. And so we had to go back in and like relock everything, and we didn't see anything, but we all saw what I swear was a ghost. Was this lady in a black dress walking past in this hall.
Oh my goodness.
And it was so cool, and it was so scary. And then that's really like a Crimson Peak moment. I know, it was so cool. And then we later asked around, because I wanted to know like what was up.
Has anybody else
seen this? And
we just thought it was a phony, a big old hoax.
There's a kid named Herman who had spent a night in Broadbeck as like a ghost thing, and he also had seen a lady in black, and we found this out afterward. And so he had seen her too, and he like stopped talking about it. He was like, yeah, I've seen her. And then he literally left me in the, like, he just turned and left. And so Broadbeck Hall in Hood College, super haunted. And it was the first time I've ever seen like a real ghost. It's the craziest story I have.
Wow. That sounds incredible. And no one will talk about it. The one guy who did it was like, yes, it happened.
Yes, it happened.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, he didn't want to talk about it. I was like, this is the coolest thing that's also ever happened to you.
And you were there with 4 or 5 other people who also don't want to talk about it.
There's also 4. Yeah, there's I think my one friend will talk about it, but all these other people were like, hey Amber, we're never doing a project with you again. Sorry.
You've got You've got bad cosmic energy, Amber.
It's like, this is the coolest project we've ever done. And our professor our editing was really bad. And we had so we never caught it on tape, but we all saw it. 4 other people saw it with me. It was, or 3 or 4 other people saw it with me. It was crazy.
And then you had to show your professor your silly video that's like, haha, this isn't hot. There's no ghosts in this building.
With a girl dressed up like a fake ghost with shitty ghost makeup.
That's why you don't mock the spirits. They'll always remind you they're there.
It was wild. She was so mad. And she just walked past. She was like, all right. And it was just the black part of her skirt.
I exist. I can scream.
Yeah, it was great.
I can probably do more if you tempt it.
It was so cool.
All right, let's see. We've got a comment in the chat here from C.T. Schultz, our haunted house friend. He says, I just had my garage rewired today. In fact, it was incredibly expensive. How much do you think it would cost to rewire the Hood College Music Hall? Did the hoop skirt ghost have a scream that you would consider to be electrifying?
No, she just sounded like a... I mean, it's always a need.
What were you about to say there? She sounded like a hottie?
It was like a high, very clear scream. I'm not electric, unfortunately.
Well, what we like to do on the show, everyone sees my face when something strange happens. What face did you make when you heard that scream?
Oh, when I was a little 12 to 18-year-old femme. Oh no. I was laughing, but I was also very scared.
Right.
So it was probably more like a...
Wonderful. That's what Steven's face when you told the story. Well, Amber, anything else you'd like to talk about tonight?
Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna... I don't have any good... I've got a couple other stories, but I'll save them.
All right. Well, that was a great one for tonight. Thank you so much for calling. We'll let you go, Amber. Thank you for joining us on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for calling. And of course, I'm your host, Cliff McCallister, the Czar of the Bizarre. Here on Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. An incredible call tonight. And it saved those of you show-long viewers from having to hear the news a second time. Lucky you, lucky you. Next week on the show, we're going to be examining this book, Who Killed Marilyn? The start of a bi-weekly series exploring this book. We're going to read the first 2 chapters over the next week. You can get a copy yourself, Who Killed Marilyn by Tony Scia. Oh, sorry. I've got a voice in my ear. We're going to be reading this book for every other week, 2 chapters each episode. So it's our little true crime spinoff. We're going to explore it. And if you can't get a copy, don't worry. I'll pull excerpts. We'll discuss it live on the air. We'll bring people on. People can discuss their theories as to who they think killed Marilyn Monroe. So that's going to be starting next week. An exciting true crime run on the show, Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. Of course, this show is brought to you by the Maryland Ensemble Theater, and we thank the Maryland Ensemble Theater every week for having the guts to put us on the air. You can support them by making a donation at marylandensemble.org/donate. Tomorrow night here on twitch.tv/metcomedynight, we've got the Comedy Pigs. They're going to be performing some short-form improv for you tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Tune in, send in your suggestions. They're going to need them. They're going to need your suggestions to get them through the show. Freddie Cadigan, referring to the call earlier tonight, the campus safety people have so many ghost stories. Now, Who Killed Marilyn Monroe? This book, published in 1976, I'd say check your local used bookstore. It's probably your best bet. I'll be honest with you, but anywhere you might be able to find old books, that's your chance. And if you can't find it, don't worry. We'll pull excerpts. We'll share the theories as we go so we can have a discussion together and break down who killed Marilyn Monroe. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McCallister. I have been your host, Cliff McCallister. A special thank you to our technical director, as well as our dream boy, Stephen Craig, right here. Oh, hey, we're still figuring out the flow of next week's show, but we might get to hear another dream. We'll see.
Ooh,
We'll see
yeah.
how much. We'll find out how much Marilyn Monroe has how much information are in these first 2 chapters.
Sure, yeah. If you gotta have time, do Marilyn first, and then I'll wait for you, Cliff.
Marilyn Monroe, America's dream girl, could have been in your dreams.
I tried to kiss her face on the book.
There you go. There she is, right next to the Kennedys. I wonder if they had something to do with her murder.
Blonde lady. I don't know.
A beautiful blonde lady. That's right. Who Killed Marilyn? Next week on the show. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Cliff McCallister, the host, our producer, Kevin Cole, and our technical director, Stephen Craig. Also, a big thank you to Amber George for calling in tonight and sharing their story with us. Always great to hear an incredible, haunting tale like that. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, I've been your host, the Czar of the Bizarre, Cliff McCallister. Stay strange, terrestrials.